What's going on, guys? RBG here, bringing you more coverage on Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. I repeat, coverage on Marvel Spider-Man Miles Morales. I had to repeat that because I've been getting these ignorant comments saying I'm spoiling the game for others, which is crazy because everything that's been featured on this channel has been revealed to the public by Insomniac and Game Informer through various interviews and posts. This is a channel where we cover and analyze the latest clips, articles, and interviews, so I'm going to continue to do so. Since I've amassed a big fan base that has subbed for all intents and purposes to hear what I have to say about any upcoming game that interests them, I'm kinda obligated to do these breakdown videos, so I can only refrain from covering so much. This is no different from what was done in 2018 when I provided coverage on the first Marvel Spider-Man game, and I have zero interest in pausing for the Spider-Man Miles Morales. So if you just so happen to be subbed to the channel or you're a random that's passing by, then I ask that you unsub or block any trending terms that pertain to this game. I just don't want to see any of the same people coming at me for quote-unquote spoiling the game, but you guys go and praise Insomniac and Game Informer for basically showing the same thing. I already peeped that the complainers have nothing to say when whatever I theorize in my videos gets revealed in the official trailers. It's the same thing that happened to me when I gave my theories on the perfect devil trigger in Devil May Cry 5. I had viewers complaining and threatening to report my videos because I supposedly ruined it for them. But when it was revealed on the official Devil May Cry channel, those very same people were saying this is awesome in the comments. And I just want to say I'm sorry for going off on this little rant, but I thought it was imperative that I point out that I don't really have the power to spoil anything for you. Like, I don't think you guys realize that we're only receiving a fraction of what this game will entail. Most of the things Game Informer has posted have been from the Rhino boss fight, so nothing I say or post is gonna rob you of your experience with the game. I'm just saying. But with the small rant out of the way, we gotta talk about the new stuff we got. Firstly, I gotta briefly mention the recent confirmation Insomniac made regarding Marvel Spider-Man Remastered. If you've been following the news for that game, you know that we're getting 3 new alternate suits that weren't in the original. We found out that one would be the Amazing Spider-Man 1 suit, and after getting this reveal, questions began to arise on if we'd be seeing this beautiful suit and the others on the original version of Marvel Spider-Man for the PS4. And I'm happy to announce that the suits will in fact be available on that respective platform, which I had a nagging suspicion they would. Insomniac has been extremely generous with the way they come through with free costumes. Like, if you guys remember, anytime there was a new costume being featured in the latest Spider-Man or MCU film, they were right there to give us the pleasure of wearing it in the game. It didn't take them any time to update the game with the Far From Home Stark suit and the Night Monkey Stealth suit, so I expect them to drop a patch in the original vanilla version as soon as the remaster launches, or even sooner than that. Anyways, since we're on the topic of costumes, we have to talk about the details we got on the tracksuit and the recently revealed Crimson Cowl suit. We've seen the tracksuit in action during certain clips, but I didn't think it would serve any general purpose other than being this cool suit you could swap the default suit out with. But it looks like this particular getup may be more important to the story than we think. Thanks largely in part to these awesome texting trailers from IGN, we were able to get more details regarding things we were wondering about. We got an update regarding how Miles was handling being New York's only Spider-Man while Peter is away in Symkaria. I know a lot of you were wondering if him and MJ got married since you saw MJ wearing this white dress in this picture, and some of you are assuming that Insomniac changed MJ's face as well. But both of those assumptions aren't true. That picture was actually featured at the very beginning of the first game, except it now features a new face of Peter, and he cropped out Harry Osborn, who was in the original pic. So yeah, I just had to clarify that. Anyways, we got another text message conversation featuring Miles' best friend and Harlem tour guide, Genki Lee. We recently discovered that he's going to be contributing his tech knowledge to Miles' crime fighting, and he's the inventor of the Friendly Neighborhood Spider-Man app, which he'll be using to access local and main missions. Something else he's going to play a major part in is creating the tracksuit. You see this funny looking doodle of Genki's concept for it, along with some possible abilities it might have. I can't read off everything since it's chicken scratch, but the illustration alludes to the tracksuit possibly featuring rocket webbing or impact webbing, which sounds like it could be one of the gadgets. There's still no info on what sort of special mod power this suit will have though, and it seems like it's gonna be more tailored to stealth since you see the open-toe ninja style shoes. But moving on, we gotta talk about the latest addition in the alternate costumes, the Crimson Cowl, which is pretty self-explanatory. The description reads, some call it a hood, others call it a cowl. Regardless, it's never been done before, and it's a look our new Spider-Man owns. Now, I know some of you are asking yourself, what do they mean it's never been done before? Because we've obviously seen other members in the Spidey family family Rocket first, such as Spider-Gwen, who's very synonymous with the hooded look. But as you know, this is a different universe compared to the others, and with the exception of Peter Parker, no one within Earth 1048 has ever seen Spider-Gwen. If you remember, he took part in the Spider-Geddon storyline that was basically a crossover that acknowledges that the Gameverse exists within the Spider-Verse. If you look closely, you'll see that the Crimson Cowl features a different mask and tights underneath it, similar to how the Spider-Cat suit does. And I'm a bit bummed that I can't see the full suit underneath the extra accessories, because they look like they could easily stand out on their own. The frames going around the lenses look really dope. Like, I love how they have the little pointy part on the bottom, just like the top has. The only thing I can say that I hate about the Crimson Cowl suit, which seems to be a universal complaint, is that there should have been more black in the suit to balance it out with the red. I think the design team should have incorporated black on the bottom half, particularly on the legs. But I guess they wanted to highly emphasize the crimson gimmick, so they went with more red. Regardless of that minor nitpick, the costume still looks good, and I'm glad Miles is going to be getting some awesome gear to pull out of his closet. But moving on, I think it's high time we talk about the new additional scenes we got from the first mission, that being the Rhino boss fight. This seems to be the part of the game where we're getting a majority of the clips from, which further confirms that we barely scratched the surface when it comes to actual content from this game. It also confirms just how grand these set pieces are going to be in scale. Eurogamer recently revealed that this mission in particular will be about 25 minutes long. Like, if you're wondering where I got that extensive scene of the Spider-Man pursuing Rhino in that epic chase scene through New York, it was actually from Eurogamer, so they beat Game Informer to the punch on that particular scene. We finally get to hear what Miles is saying when Rhino has him and Peter back into a corner and he discovers his bioelectric abilities. But just because he has those newly found powers doesn't mean he's going to be invincible, as seen when Rhino sends him flying through a wall, which is another never before seen moment in this boss fight. And Game Informer pretty much provides more details to fill in the gaps, because there's a lot of things that still don't show how we got from the start where Miles accidentally breaks the Rhino out to where he ends up doing battle with him. Game Informer confirms that the Rhino actually rams the inside of the crate with impressive force, which further proves my point, because as I mentioned in another video, it's not all Miles' fault. As you see, when the big crash happens, prisoners from the ground transports are also freed. Since Peter has defeated the Rhino multiple times, he offers to handle him, and he does so without batting an eye, leaping into the air and mounting the villain like he's bucking a bull. And Rhino responds by running full tilt into anything he can. Cars, walls, nothing stops his rage. And Miles offers to handle the inmates. He begins with a few lightning quick web shots that lift an inmate off the ground and pin him to the side of a vehicle, 2 webs to the feet of another inmate, followed by a quick yank that lifts them high into the air, where he hangs for a second before being slammed to the ground. Miles then uses his spider sense to dodge a few incoming shots, giving him an opportunity to lean heavily into his legs to deliver a flurry of attacks that take out the last of the inmates. And this is happening all the while Rhino and Peter are doing their rodeo nearby. Rhino realizes that these tactics aren't working, and he decides to take Peter for a ride down the street, where he eventually leaps a good 5 to 6 stories into the air to smash through the side of a tall building. The amount of destruction delivered in this moment is a sight to behold. At first, there's a puff of smoke followed by a loosening of a giant holiday sign that crashes to the ground as bricks pour around it. As you can see, Peter is eventually thrown for Rhino, but Miles is quick to take his spot on the villain's shoulders, and the player maintains complete control. Rhino again smashes through a wall, this one leading into the massive glam mall, which is filled with highly detailed shops and numerous floors lined with shoppers. Rhino uses a spacious rotunda opening to descend to the bottom floor and then races feverishly towards Santa's workshop. And as it turns out, the mall Santa is played by none other than J. Jonah Jameson.
He's a low-energy menace. Too easy. Maybe he's a weak-minded. Oh!
Hey, Jonah! Looking good! Very festive!
Menace! A feckless, treacherous, unhinged!
We eventually get to the part that made many fans question how Peter was defeated by the Rhino when he's beaten the giant villain multiple times in the past. But as you see, the confrontation eventually leads to a gas tank that Rhino knows could conclude the battle, saying, "Let's raise the temperature." The gas tank explodes when he collides with it, rocketing both Spider-Men a good distance away. The blast is huge, hitting a Roxxon Corporation factory nearby. Small explosions ripple through the building interior, jetting fire out of the windows. Peter, who is looking a bit ragged with tears on his suit, is left to fight Rhino on his own, and he's not up for the challenge. And Miles can't help him at the moment because he's dealing with more escaped inmates. Peter is punted violently into a wall and is knocked nearly unconscious.
This Spider-Man is broken. I would like to exchange for new one. This one will do.
Miles, get out of here! Bro. Back the hell?
Game Informer doesn't really reveal how the fight ends because they don't want to spoil that particular bit. I'm pretty sure the entire mission is going to be even bigger in the actual game than what we've seen throughout the various promotions. Because if you guys remember, even though Insomniac revealed certain missions like the helicopter chase sequence and the big raft breakout, they were even longer once you got to play them. So there's no need to complain on things you think you know. At the end of the day, you're going to play the game and you're going to easily forget about the supposed spoilers you thought would ruin your experience. But with that, I think I'm going to end the video. We're about 18 days from the release date, so if you think you've reached a point where you don't want to see anything else, you might want to unsub like I said earlier. But if you've been enjoying all the coverage I've been providing, or you just so happen to be new to the channel, then why not subscribe and hit that notification bell, man? Or you can let me know what you think about it in the comments below. Are you liking the footage that Insomniac and Game Informer are releasing, or do you think they're revealing too much? As always, I ask you like or dislike the video. It doesn't have to be a thumbs up, it can be a thumbs down. Any feedback is good feedback and will only help me improve on future content. But if you really enjoyed the video, it would help me out tremendously if you shared it with all your friends and followers on different social media outlets. Sharing really makes a difference. But this is your boy RBG signing out on another video. I'll catch you guys later. Peace out.